It's yet another beautiful Sunday, and how awesome to allow us into your home. Ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome. This is the Upside Down Show. I'm Frema Edunyami. Today, we are having a conversation. This lady we're going to be talking about, one I so much love, one I really admire, and I'm sure at the end of it all, you will understand me better. This show is proudly brought to you by Sky Mineral Water. Right after the break, we are going to be letting you in on who our guest is, and we'll give you a show. Once again, you are welcome. This is the Upside Down Show.
All right. Summer love to my baby daily. Summer love to my lady daily. Show your love. If we talk on me, I won't come and see her. I'm in the myself. Remember what I said. I want you to know. Now I already know. Oh, I want in your market. I want from me with your rambo. Oh, I want in Zabe crying. That's a woman don't eat. Yenti, you try me there. I want in my command, not connected. Yeti sugar travel do na yemfa do bom bom bom. Bese right fe ta. Da mara no wa fe yo. Ara chiche fi oni pa o. Yeti do mi na mi do die. Ada was them. Oh wa benye ni ja. No free no pia mando. Sabari mabanye nita. No free of sima. It's in a message, show your love, show your love. Trouble door, mommy wanted it. Order your doses. It's show your love. Trouble door, mommy wanted it. Order your door. It's your door, your doses. Go show your love, Jawudo, mommy wanted it, order your girls. You are the man I say, show your love, Jawudo, mommy wanted it, order your girls. I didn't tell you, say my friends are crying me a warm and then going myself. Oh, wait, remember, see, I'm on the good, and I'm already know. Oh, woman in your mouth, I want phone be with your rambo. It's a sugar baby. I am found. It's in a message, show your love, baby, show your love. I'm a mania. Show your love, Jawudo. Music from Ghana. For Bakumama, a day for Bakumama. For Bakumama, Santa Bakumama, may I want Betty a mom with the Bia. I know cross some there, but don't want to Betty and the Jay because I would don't see what's a rotary. Oh, won't palm me no bill, then Sarah Bassy, what's her. Mama said, "No, what's up? No famu do, mama cotton. Fama kuma mamo, fama kuma mamo, la 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 la. Fama kuma mamo, marabeo. Fama kuma mamo, la 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 la. Sebo. Yeah. Set to walk, mama, I mean, some way I want Betty, I'm over then, you know. there was a mama dama mingotin. Fama kumama mo. Fama kumama la 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 la. Fama kumama mo. Marabe. Fama kumama mo. La 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 la. Wuti anemi. Iti ya kakome. Wuti anemi. Iti ya kakome. Wuti anemi. Iti ya kakome. All right, let's do this way down low. See, I tell them I don't go fit to do the work without the paper. But then if over and then maybe yes. Mama minji many yeah. So whether you be a couple, but they can pass me the beer. And if you work with the do, with the what's so funny yeah. Every day yeah. Say, I know more I look and I want to wear designer. It's a man so much heavy. I want the things so fine now. Until you be my money mo. Money me, oh, money me, oh, money me, oh, be my money me, oh. Mommy trapping them, hey. Until you be my money me, oh. Money me, oh, money me, oh, money me, oh, be my money me, oh. Mommy trapping them, yeah. I saw there was over the paper. With money from my pocket. And every day with the work card, you they ask for my mother. I want to wear them shoes, Tommy Gucci and the Prada. Oh, I see they get control, make you not forget to your brother. Say, I see they go higher, we never ever look back. I took a bottle from my head, they call your name, we never ever look back. They call your name, and see you be my money more. Money me, oh, money me, oh, money me, oh, be my money me, oh. My man traveling, oh, hey, and see you be my money, oh. Money me, oh, money me, oh, money me, oh, be my money me, oh. That's right. Suga. Highlight music from Ghana. Sebo, a lipa baba, a lipa baba, a limbe, Zibodobo, 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 Zibodobo. Me one was so me one time, me want someone to them, me want someone to cast. Me one was so me one time, me want someone to them, me want someone to make us. It's in anyone going, Yama Shrakoti, Yama Nako, or dance someone. Anyone going, Yama Shrakoti. I'm not cooking, or that's a man. It's a woman, oh, my pure, woman, it's a woman, oh, my pure, woman, oh, my bro. It's easy. This is highlight music from Ghana. Wherever you're watching us from. Me when you want so me want time, me want some more time, me want some more to me casa. Me when you want so me want time, more some more time, me want some more to me casa. Anyone go me, master go tea. Man, rock again, or dance some more. You walk away, Yamasakoti, Yamanako, or dance some more. Yet, see, woman, me gave you, oh, my breath, woman, me gave you, oh, my breath, woman, me shred you, woman, me shred you, my breath, woman, me gave you, my bro.
You are welcome. This is the Upside Down Show. I'm Frema Edunyame. And before the break, I told you that I'm going to be talking. You know, when we have women on the set, it's a whole new story. You know, and tonight we have a show to give you. This woman we are going to be talking to you about, she is a lawyer by profession. You know, she's doing so well in politics. quite honestly, I really need to know how these women do it in politics because you know what it means to be a female politician right here in Ghana. She has been a Minister of State and currently she is a special aide to a former president, you know, and also the leader, the flag bearer of the biggest opposition party in the country, the National Democratic Congress. She is a wife, you know, a great one at that, and also an adorable mother. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce to you our guest for the day, the beautiful, the intelligent, and of course, the adorable Joyce Bawah Mogtari. You are welcome, Council.
Thank you, Prima. And I love this outfit. One
Thank
of
you
my
very much.
ultimate favorite fabrics.
Oh,
Beautiful.
really?
Absolutely. I think I have it in green, I have it in brown, I have it in burgundy. Yes.
You know, I wore this because I thought you were going to be in an African
To
print.
be
Because
honest,
you're always in an African
I
print.
actually nearly did. And of course, I asked your producer what the stage was like. But for some reason, I had another meeting this morning. And then
Okay.
I asked my guy to pick it up. And for some weird reason, I got back to the office and the fabric wasn't there. So
No, it's okay. I
only
mean,
for the exception. Otherwise, I would definitely
I
have
know,
been.
I know,
Absolutely,
I
yes,
know.
yes.
I know.
I
But
love-
you are welcome.
I love my African prints. But of course,
Yes.
even this is made in Ghana, even though it's black.
Oh, yeah. And,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
it really
yes.
fits
Yeah.
you. I mean, you
Yes,
have a beautiful figure, you know,
Well,
everything you wear.
This is a work dress. I'm just trying very hard to be more like you.
No, that's not possible.
Very,
that's
very
not
possible.
I mean, even with work, you swagging it up, you know.
Well, you have to try. You know,
We
you
love
have-
that. We
you
love
have
that.
to look the part, you know. You ought to.
Absolutely.
You really
But
have
how
to.
are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very
Great,
well, thank
great,
you.
great.
It's
How
an
are
absolute
the
pleasure.
triplets?
They're awesome. They're on midterm, so they're home. So they're really throwing a whole racket. But
Wow,
they're
how old are
great.
they now?
3+.
So how was it like, you know, to be a mother of a triplets?
Beautiful, beautiful. A blessing. Lovely,
Wow.
lovely. Yes, yes.
Are they
yes.
identical?
Well, not necessarily. You know,
Okay.
they have different personalities, they have different skin color, but they behave the same way, almost the exact same way, say the
Wow.
same things, and relate in pretty much the same way. So yes, they're great.
Gender?
Well, I'm keeping that a secret, very
Oh,
close to
really?
my chest. Absolutely, yes.
Oh.
Deliberately.
Really?
And, yes, big
No, but
brother
you
is
tell
fine.
me in my ear before
Well,
you
maybe
go.
I'll whisper in your ear
Yes,
so you
yes.
can ask God for a double of that blessing.
No, I don't think I can handle that.
Well, we all thought so, but it's very easy.
No, but I'm done, you know,
Oh,
with
okay, so
children.
don't worry. We can then add them as an addendum, so you can just
Well,
hang
well,
out.
well, don't worry, they have an auntie in me, so I'll be
And a
there.
godmother.
Absolutely,
Thank
right.
you, thank
And the
you.
older, is it brother or sister?
Yes, brother. He's great.
Okay.
He's fine. Yes, taking
How-
his
how is
A-level,
he?
so he's very, very busy.
I
Yes,
can,
very,
I
very
can
busy.
tell that. I
Yes,
have
yes, yes,
some
you
in
know,
my home now.
Those exams are serious, and you know,
Yes,
life
yes.
is very competitive now. You know, I wish I could take the pressure off him and actually take the exam for him, but
No, it
unfortunately,
means that you are also training a soldier, you know.
proper one.
And
a
they
real
have
one.
the strength for it.
Oh yes, yes, yes. But it still gets to them, and you feel it too. You know, it's not always
I
easy, and
know, yeah.
sometimes even the subjects are not so easy. And then you know, he said to me this morning, "Oh, you know, my friends at SOS are done with their exams. They took the IB, you know, and we're still
Yeah,
stuck with this one."
yes,
But
yes,
I know that.
They'll
I
be
think that-
fine.
oh,
They'll be
Well, I
fine.
hope so. I think our parents felt the same way for us.
You know, but look at us
Yes,
today.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
So I
yes,
think we're
yes.
just reinventing the wheel. But we thank God.
But you've been busy. You are doing so well. How was it like, you know, to be a special aide to a former president? You've been a minister of state. I mean, just quickly, how does it feel like?
Well, it feels great. All you need is enormous energy, a lot of tact, a lot of diplomacy. There are some courses that you don't learn at school.
Yeah.
I think a job like this is one of those jobs. And so you learn on the job, you learn very quickly, you have to deal with a lot of things that you'd otherwise not be dealing with. I'm very used to being a boss. And so in an environment like that, you know how it is. You
Yeah.
expect people to work with you. You need some teamwork. You need a lot of collaboration. You would also naturally become the one that everybody wants to beat.
Well,
So there's so many threats that you have to look out for all the time. And you need to have a very strong mental capacity as well. You need to be very strong inside and out. You also need to grow very quickly
Yeah.
and take the knocks as they come, but remember that it's all part of the job. So I
Yeah.
think that in many ways, it wasn't a job that I planned for.
Okay.
It wasn't a job that I trained for. It wasn't even a job that I looked forward to. But I think that once that opportunity came my way, I took it in my stride. I did my best, or I continue to do my best. And one thing that gives me enormous hope and energy and deep, deep, deep reflection is that I call myself very proudly an ambassador for all women in politics.
Super, and we really love that.
Yes,
You know, a lot of people look up to you, and I'm sure many more will even do so.
Yes, it's a very,
but it appears that we woke up one day, we have a very strong woman, you know, a great advocate for all of us. We have somebody who we consider very resilient. But you came from somewhere.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm sure you've had your own struggles, your own battles, your challenges. How has it been? You know, who really is Joyce Bawah Mogtari? Before we knew you, I mean, growing up and in your home with your parents, with your siblings, who are you?
Well, I'm JB. Everybody calls me JB.
Okay. Oh, we have our own JB in the house.
Absolutely. And so, you know, I was christened Joyce to Bawah.
Okay.
I probably think that I was the apple of my father's eye.
How many were you?
There's 6 of us.
Okay.
Yes, there's 6 of us. There's 5 girls and a brother.
Wow.
And we also happen to have 2 half-sisters who are amazing young women now.
Okay.
And so I come from quite a large family, a very cosmopolitan family. And so I think that life actually prepares you for many things that you probably don't envisage. So I was born in Tamale, born to 2 very humble parents, very hardworking, dedicated parents. My father was a teacher for most of his life, math and geography, until I was probably maybe about age 16 thereabouts. My mother was always a teacher and the very first principal of a women's training college in Tamale.
Did they meet in school or something?
Well, no, they didn't. Not at all. They
Okay.
were actually from totally very different contexts and then met at some point and decided to get married. For my mother, it was actually her second marriage.
Okay.
For my father, it was his first. So I believe that we were raised with enormous love. We were loved children. We were raised to be very, very competitive. We probably had the best that everything had to offer, considering the circumstances. But I think that all in all, one of the main things on which I was personally raised on was this sense of discipline, because you know you are my eldest.
Yeah.
You must see life a certain way. You must survive life a certain way. You must stand up and very firm for all the others that you will have to be literally looking after.
Yeah.
You also have to be the success story that everybody can actually latch onto. And so I think that on the cusp of this sort of life, I may have taken my upbringing maybe more seriously than most. And I look back on all the years now and I think that God has actually been very, very, very faithful. And it is also by grace.
Yeah.
But I don't take any of that for granted, and I bear it in all humility. And I believe that like everybody else, you know, young people, we have also challenges to be or not to be, to take the least resistance, a road that has been least traveled on, to ask yourself how many times you want to do something or not do something. And, you know, I believe that right from a very early age, I was privileged enough to have been exposed to all sorts of people. And I think that also inculcates in you enormous, you know, knowledge. It also affords you opportunities to look very carefully at what exactly it is you really aspire to be. And I think that all of us, in one way or the other, we imbibe a lot of the aspirations of our parents for us.
Yeah.
If you are successful, then you actually vindicate them. And so I think that in many ways, I may probably be the dream that my parents always imagined.
So you started school in Tamale.
Absolutely.
And then moved on. You know, I really
in
love
fact, I
Tamale.
started school in a very small kitchen in the home of a very prominent lawyer.
Okay.
Who became running mate to then Professor Edu Boahini, Arai Alasam.
Really?
Yes, that was
Okay,
actually
you
one of the
remember
very
the name of the
first-
school?
Oh yes, today is at a new school. At the time it was called Tamale International.
Okay.
But now it is called Al Hassan Banzaba after his family when he passed on. Yes. So
I really love Tamale.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
anytime
yes.
we've had to go on the Heritage Caravan,
Yes,
Tamale is
yes,
one of
yes.
the
Oh, yes,
areas
yes.
that I really look forward
And,
to visiting.
it's currently one of the fastest growing metropolises in
Yes.
Africa. I think that it has a whole culture that is very different.
Very different,
And I
you know.
love the fact that I go there now, and sometimes I even have to struggle to find my bearings, you know.
Really?
Yeah, please, when we were kids, it was
I'm
just
sure
one
it-
street. And like everybody knew everybody. And we just used to
believe
walk
that,
around.
yeah.
Oh yes, I mean, I remember every
but
neighbor.
the people are so
each person, yes,
welcoming,
yes.
very
Oh, yes,
hospitable.
yes. And life is
I
very...
love- very easy, you know, not the
you
pressure that
Yes,
you really
yes,
know
yes,
that you've
yes.
moved out from
Absolutely.
Accra and all the
everybody
pressure.
asked me, so did you used to ride a bike? Have you gone on
You
a
did?
motorcycle? Of course, everybody did. And I mean, at home, yes, I think this car actually came from a bike when I fell off.
Wow.
Oh, yes, and for the
It's
longest
so
time.
beautiful, you know.
Oh,
I think that the whole of Tamale, you know, the
Yes,
people,
yes,
your culture, how you do it,
But
is a
actually,
great export
I
for
don't
Ghana.
originally hail from Tamale, even though I was born there.
So where are you
I
originally
am
from?
partly from Salaga. That is Salaga
Okay.
South, where my father comes from.
Okay.
Where my grandfather became became a Yagbunura at some point. So like literally the overlord of Gonja.
Yes.
So I'm actually a princess of Gonja from my father's side.
Oh.
Yes, so my village is actually Pembi. But I think the
Okay.
capital is Salaga, so everybody knows Salaga. But
No, royalty
Pembi
looks
is
good
just
on
a
you.
few minutes
Okay,
there.
and your mom? Your
and
mom
my mom
from-
comes from Bole.
Okay.
Yes, also a princess from Bole, and a
Oh,
very
no, so
strong
you are
woman
really
from Bole.
royalty in
Yes,
its true
and
sense.
I think that my biggest inspiration must certainly be my beautiful mother, Shiata, who is 84 today. So I give her a shout out.
Today?
Not today, she's 84
Oh, I mean now.
Yes, now.
Oh, wow,
Yes,
wow.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
And your dad, is your dad still around?
Oh, he's been dead forever. Oh, well, over 20 years and counting.
Oh, God bless your
yes,
soul, Daddy.
Yes, over 20 years and
Right.
counting. But, you know, every day you see something that reminds you of him. And I think that somehow, maybe I kind of probably act more like him now.
Really?
People tell me that all the time. And each time I remember him, there's a mixed feeling. Like you wish he had lived to see all of us today.
Yeah.
But then you also know that wherever he is, I think somehow
He's proud. He's smiling
he's
at you.
enormously proud. He's
Yes.
protective. He's still keeping an eye out on us. And
Right.
I draw enormous inspiration when I meet his students, when I meet his colleagues or people who interacted with him one way or the other. I think it's actually a very humbling experience to have both parents represent such positive things in the lives of many others other than their children.
Right.
I think that is what also breeds in me this extreme public spiritedness. You know, life is not just about you.
Right, so from the small kitchen, you know, Tamale International
Yeah.
School to Wesley Girls,
Straight
and
to
then...
no, from there
Yes.
to Bagabaga Primary, then for a few months to a new school that came up, Presby Primary.
Okay.
And then there was a coup d'etat, as I recall, and then everything literally changed. And next thing I knew, we had moved home, we had moved life, we had moved work.
So tell me about the coup. I mean, you remember how old you were and
I
what
probably
experience?
was very young. All I remember is that it was on the eve of my birthday because I happened to be born on New Year's Day.
Yes, 1st
And I
January.
recall my mom was literally always, as usual, baking very happily and trying to deliver a cake and on time, you know, and then suddenly everything stopped mid-sentence.
Which coup
Don't
was
forget.
this?
I think this must have been the 81 coup, right?
Okay,
Yes. So this was
right.
the one that propelled the PNDC into yes, office, yes. And so I lived on a street that had a lot of huge political figures and judges and all of that. So somehow everybody's life, I think,
Yeah.
completely changed after that, you know, yes. So I started secondary school in the beautiful Tamale Secondary School where my father had taught for a very, very long
Okay.
time. And then after O-levels, we relocated again. And so I had to take my O-levels in the St. Francis Girls Secondary School
Okay.
in Jirapa, where I probably obtained the very best results that they had ever experienced.
Shack girl.
And then not necessarily, I think I just work very hard. Work harder than most people.
It makes me a shock, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There are no shacks in this world.
Well, I mean, if you work, hard, you become a shark.
No. I probably work too hard. I shouldn't
I don't
really.
think sharks are born. I think they are made.
Some are born.
Really?
Yes, Elon Musk
But-
was born.
Wow.
Some are born.
But some can also
Some
train
can
to
acquire
attain
it.
it. Yes.
Some can train themselves to be. Some can learn from other sharks.
So where would you put yourself?
I will humbly say that I'm still learning.
Well, modest enough.
Oh, I am still learning.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes. So basically that was it. And then I think that, of course, then I did my sixth form or my A-levels at the Wesley Girls High School.
Okay.
And so I have very beautiful and fond memories of my schooling. I think that life always prepares you for what your adulthood will be like. I had
Yeah.
a very cosmopolitan life. And so I still mix very, very well. I interact very well. But I tell people, the biggest plus for me as a person is in the number of colleagues, schoolmates, and
Yeah.
classmates that I've collected over the years.
So throughout this journey, did you at any point anticipate that you were going to be a lawyer?
I think right from secondary school, from 3, like I said, my school started in the home of Arara Larson.
Yeah.
And then my father's best friend at the time was lawyer Diaka, who was then one of the foremost lawyers in Tamale. There was lawyer Momuni, who was also a very young lawyer coming up. I mean, at the time, I think that was just when all these conversations had started to come up. So naturally, a very precocious young girl like me who loved words, loved to read, and was very curious about people's professions. I think that somehow I knew very early on that this was a calling that I would love to, take up. And, the law is a very versatile profession. And in all humility, it actually exposes you to all sorts of things beyond the law, beyond the advocacy, beyond the empowerment. It presents you a world like no other. As a stepping stone, what is it you can't do? But look around you, what all the great lawyers have done before you and continue to do. So I think it's a profession that suits me very, very well. And it was effortless. I tell people all the time, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even blink. You know what I mean? Make your grades, do what you want to do, and the rest is history. So.
Well, I think that you have a very tall, educational history. You've done so well, and you are still doing well. And in your own words, you're still learning. You never end. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I want to know, because you mentioned earlier that you did not see yourself, maybe going into politics or becoming a minister of state. I mean, lawyer, you anticipated. But politics...
Do you anticipate law? Not necessarily.
No, so the influences, around
somehow,
you, you weren't too surprised when you found yourself there.
Not necessarily,
but
no.
Politics, I'm not too sure that you saw yourself becoming a deputy minister, you saw yourself being here, and you saw yourself doing all the great things you are doing for Mother Ghana today. When we come back, you'll be sharing that experience with us. This is the Upside Down Show. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show, and my guest today is the beautiful, the intelligent, the adorable, the awesome. She's everything. I really like her. Joyce Bawah Mogtari. Don't forget, she's a former Minister of State and now Special Aide to President Mahama, or let me not cause problems, former President John Dramani Mahama, and the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. So how do people call you? JB?
Oh, most close friends call me JB. People who are even closer than friends call me Adishetu.
Adishetu.
Yes,
It's really nice. I like
and
indigenous
at home,
names.
Everybody calls me Nana because Adishetu is my grandmother's name, actually. So you couldn't possibly be calling me Adishetu all the time. Exactly. And then so I have also nicknames. It depends on which side of the aisle you find me.
How do you want
my
me to call
roommates,
you?
for example, would see me and they would scream Joyce B. It's different.
No, I like the Joyce B. Sounds
Exactly.
girls.
Good. So that it's very girls. And then of course, the rare occasion is those who actually just call me Joyce. That's very rare. And I think that maybe, in our society, people just love to refer to people as auntie, as mommy, and all that.
Sometimes it feels a bit weird when you see people and you just call them by their first names.
Yeah, but what's wrong?
Well, nothing, but I think it's a culture. That is who we are.
I think that Joyce is nice.
But I like the Joyce B.
But
yeah.
I don't mind actually, but
it sounds like a girls' hangout kind of phone calls,
very, very
that
normal.
Everybody
does,
right. So now, with everything you've achieved, go to London for your law training, and so at what point did you come to Ghana?
Oh, I think I came back to Ghana somewhere in 2004 finally.
Okay.
Yes, that was after a brief spat between 98 and 2000.
Okay.
And then I decided, okay, I was going to come and try and stay for a while and see. It's not always easy settling back in. But I think I probably made a very good choice at the time. And I think I don't regret it at all because I still have a lot of links with my friends. And I look back on it and think that, nothing beats coming back home.
Yes, home
and
is
maybe
home.
you do so at a certain time.
Yeah.
And so it prepares you for a certain life that you will probably not find living anywhere else. But maybe I can say that because you have the option. And so you can go everywhere else and then you come back. And I've had brief spots when I've gone back to school. For example, I went back to Malta at some point, stayed there for nearly 2 years and came back. So there have been times when you've gone and come. I've had to go to Sweden for a course also in management in maritime and come back. And so you always have that. And then, of course, there's all these committees that I used to work on. For example, the WTO committees, the Rotterdam Rules committees, the Convention for Rail Networks meetings, and, of course, many of them. So you always have an opportunity to reconnect as and when you please. And for many years, I represented Ghana also at the IMO's legal committee too, so that took me also on many of the working groups and all of that. And
so were you Mrs. Mogtari when you were coming back?
Oh, I got married maybe I'd say somewhere in 2002 in December. Yes,
right.
yes. And I didn't actually add on the name until much, much later.
Right.
You know, when you have children, sometimes there are issues, you need to apply for forms and visas and all sorts of things for them, and then people keep asking. So at some point, you realize that whatnot. But of course, it always mattered to me that I'd keep my maiden name as well. And then I found that, okay, both names rhyme very beautifully, so why don't you put them together? So basically, that's
and it worked.
Yes, it worked well. But of course, nobody really calls me Mrs., to be honest.
Wow.
You know, somehow, I think the JB does it for most people.
Exactly,
and so,
it's easier,
yes,
but
it's a lot
when we
easier.
have to
So
call
when
it
you
out,
have to be very formal, then maybe, but otherwise.
Yes. So what was the plan, you know, coming back home? What really was your plan? That, okay, so I'm going back, and then?
Well, I think that my father actually was always of the view that he wanted all of us returning home.
Right.
It was important to him that we came back home to do whatever it is we wanted to do. And I was very, very lucky. You know, once I got back, I mean, with a law degree, with a qualifying certificate in law, with a master's in corporate law, you didn't have too many problems. And there really weren't that many of us at the time, you know. So I started off at a very small law firm, worked for a while, moved to another law firm, tried to set up on my own. Things didn't go too well because I'd keep going in and out and all of that. And then one fine day, while I was consulting for a very small, interesting petroleum company, I came across a job advert.
Okay.
Initially, I didn't even think much about it. But later on, I spoke to a few friends, found out this was this very profound Ghana Club 100 company doing amazing things in transportation, in maritime, and all of that. And of course, the best attraction for me was the fact that, oh, they could travel, like, you know, they travel the world. And I thought, wow, you do all this on a job? And the lady says, yes. I thought, okay, so let me apply, you know. And I would always say that the rest is history. I think in applying for that job, I took a great risk, a risk that I didn't even foresee and even appreciate where it was going to take me to. And then the next thing I knew, I was at one interview, a second one, a third one, and every time they would come back and call me. But note, I'd already just returned back home. I tried to apply for a job in a bank, but my father was never for us professionals working in banks anyway, so he was really not too keen on it. And so eventually I had to make up my mind very quickly whether to go to the bank or go to this public parastatal. Eventually I went on to the parastatal. Even then, a lot of my friends had reservations, like, you know, I mean, that would be a very boring environment, you know. Why would you want to go and all these geographical and qualitative things and things to do with land and sea, what things, why do you want to go there? But I thought, why not? Sometimes try the things that you've never tried before. And so I found myself with the then Ghana Shippers Council, and I must confess that God indeed must have ordered my steps. I met a boss who was almost cast in the mold of my father. And I believe that very early on he saw that I was very talented. He literally put me to use immediately. I think I really, 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 really honed my skills. I had a talent for delivery, I had a talent for presentation, I had a talent for speaking, and I had a great talent for research. I think all of that came to play very, very well on that job.
So let's just move to Joyce, the politician. You know, how, when did you become a politician?
But that's the whole point.
Did you find yourself in the NDC and then met the former president? Did you meet the former president?
Now you are digging into all sorts of things.
Because I'm interested, I want to know.
But you know, I would never speak out of 10. I'm literally just building a story.
Just because of the time, because we want to capture everything.
Just at the point where you get to find out where you were working before. Note that for years, my father had actually worked in various capacities in politics. I think in his final embers, it was largely in the NDC. So our home was like a hotbed for all sorts of political activity. And don't forget, I told you that our neighbor, who was a very influential person at the time, also became a running mate to the then Dr. Bawah. So we had grown up in the times when there was enormous political activity. Time was coming for the 1992 Constitution, that my father was proudly one of the persons who framers of that Constitution. He was part of the Legislative Assembly. So yes, naturally, you would always have this passion of an interest. So I think that even at work or anything, everybody knew very well that, you know, I'd write all these articles and I'd write all these things. So, you can always tell. And so, yes, we all registered to vote, etc. My husband actually was a very, very deep in politics kind of person, even though he was actually a research person. So I've always been quite political, but maybe not in a way that you'll go and contest on a seat, etc. but manage it very well, coupled with my profession and my work and all of that. So I think in many ways that the real reason why I eventually came into the fore for a political appointment was actually because I was then in transportation. No, there weren't that many of us.
No.
And even at the time when I got a scholarship to go abroad to study for that particular project, it was a very competitive one. There were about 54 of us from different parts of the world. And to think of it even now, at the time I was probably maybe the youngest in the group. And to win a scholarship award like that is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So you ought to put it to very good use. So you must always remember that people invest in you for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, in 2008, when I went on the USDA program, I didn't even understand this whole concept of leadership that people used to talk about until I went on that program.
Okay.
You know, I met all sorts of governors and senators. The US Supreme Court suddenly came alive to me. And so I think that there's a way that events sometimes would mold and shape you for something. And of course, Samahama, he's always been like an elder brother of sorts and was always a member of the family.
You know. The former president looks like somebody, I mean, watching him from afar, you know, he loves fun, right?
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I tell people all the time that to know John Mahama is to experience him.
Okay.
You know, and quiet as he is, you'll be surprised how well he knows all of us. You know, he works with you closely. You learn a lot from him because you see, deep down, he's someone who loves to teach. You understand? Okay. But he's also a very, very quiet and mostly broody kind of person. And I think when you are thrust into these very public spaces at a certain point in time, no matter who you are, it will actually build certain mechanisms into you. So yes, it takes a while for you to start to realize what he wants to do, how he wants it done. But he's someone who enjoys micromanaging, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, you'll be surprised. Sometimes
Is it
very innocuous things.
Is it difficult, you know, working with somebody like that, not his personality, but in his capacity, you know, this is, I mean, he was a president.
Oh, yes,
You've been his spokesperson,
Yes,
special aid.
Oh, yes,
How is it like? You know, can you go to bed freely and sleep and have your normal dreams and wake up?
You always have to have one eye open.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
then the best part is that being a lawyer too, you know how to navigate the environment. You know, I always tease Mr. Kofi Adams that you see I'm one of the few spokespersons who has so far not been sued for any huge damages or whatever because you use it very, very well. I know just when to stop. I know just when I've said enough, or I know just when you're almost crossing the legal threshold, you know, so that you're always navigating one thing. And look, if there's anybody whose gatekeepers have probably struggled above themselves, it must be John Mahama's gatekeepers. It is not an easy task.
I can imagine.
Recently I had a chat with a very young, young politician, and she was, oh, but Auntie Joyce, you know, in 2016, you know, we should have been making a lot of noise. I said, you know something? The walls in 2016 were literally so thick that you honestly couldn't even go beyond those walls. It was almost as if the whole world was up in arms against this one political party. It was almost, think about it. And I said, you see, it's because you didn't live through that period. If you did, you'll understand. Look, for 9 months, there was this petition. Then just about when he's about to settle, there's this excruciating doomsday. Power outages like never before. We were completely unprepared. We didn't even have the infrastructure for a project like that. And, you know, power was not like water, that you think you can go to your next door neighbor, you can get someone who has a reservoir, and then, absolutely, you know. And then, of course, I always remember when President Kufuor was faced with even something less strenuous. We had the pastors praying at around Akosombo. We used to have the crawlers telling you the water level, so you be careful. Under his circumstances, none of those things was going to help.
Well, so it's an election year.
Yep.
And how are you preparing, you know, or you're always prepared?
I think that largely, maybe half of the preparation is actually in all the legwork that you actually make. And if there's anybody who has traveled the length and breadth of Ghana, that person must be John Dramani Mahama. And if you know someone who knows the geography of this country better than Mr. Mahama, maybe I might just say maybe my late father.
Oh, wow.
Not many people understand the length and every corner of Ghana, like Mr. Muhammad does.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of the name of the road, to the name of the district. And he will always remember one little something or other about the place. And so I think that in many ways, politicking is almost like built into him.
Okay.
You know, I think that
he's been here forever.
Oh, I believe that at some point very soon, students will actually study this mysterious individual and try to understand him in ways. Look, you know, and the best part is that almost every day he reinvents himself, you know, and you realize that in all of this, sometimes destiny also plays a role in a person's life.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wish every day that God will actually crown all his efforts with success, that God will allow for him this opportunity to once again present himself to the good people of Ghana, and above all, that he will lead us in the way that all of us anticipate. And I love the theme for his last campaign, which was what? Let's build the Ghana we all want together.
So let me ask you, in all this, have you ever had any regrets? You know, have you ever wanted to stop at some point? I mean, you are a great lawyer. You know, you had your career. You are a fantastic wife, I believe, a great mom. You know, it looks like you had your life cut out for you.
Absolutely.
You decide to come to this Ghana, you know, where everybody's business is everybody's business, you know, where you say something, the next minute you have to be explaining yourself, people sit back, say all kinds of things. Have you ever, you know, the way we handle female politicians in this country, have you had regrets?
Oh, I won't call them regrets, but I've had many days when I've wanted to stop.
Really?
Yes, and do something else.
Give me such, I mean, a couple of instances.
Oh,
Would you remember?
Many days. Oh, I remember a few of them. You know, I write a lot, so I'm someone that
You don't
events
forget
and
easily.
issues, times and days. No, I don't forget anything. I forgive, but I never forget. So yes, no, there have been many occasions. Oh, many by you. So, and then of course when there was all these barbs and all these attacks that come your way that you don't even expect. But you know, I think that there's any situation that prepares you for a difficult life. You know, sailors have a way that they see the sea as a very calm thing, but they are also the very first to tell you just how dangerous that calm sea can be. The ocean can decide to swallow you at any time. I think pretty much is a metaphor that works also in life. I believe that every human being must have your pickup line.
Right.
You must have your limitations. You must also know within you what it is you want to do. You know, okay, so you find yourself in politics. You've left a very beautiful job, an amazing job, a job that took you around the world almost every day of your life. You know, meeting people, doing very amazing cases, things that you never get to hear about anywhere else. Meeting some of the very best that the world has to offer. And then you come into politics. It's a very different zone. I remember someone who heard me at my vetting was so surprised that someone like that was a Ghanaian. And so immediately after the interviews, he reached out to me. I was so surprised, you know. And then it turned out he had even known my dad, so he wasn't too sure whether it was the same person's daughter or not. Because of course we were really very young at the time that most people engaged my old man. So, I mean, I took that as a cue that there are a lot of people who want you to succeed.
Right.
And so don't allow the vagaries of the job and all the negativity of it to affect you. I've tried to navigate all of it, never losing sight of myself.
How do you unwind?
Oh, greatly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you love to do for entertainment? Watch movies, read, listen to music?
I read a lot.
Okay.
I write a great deal. I love to pen everything that I think of, anything I find interesting. I enjoy exercising, whether for leisure or for any other reason. I exercise actively almost all the time.
Okay.
I love to go clubbing, even though I'm not a good dancer at all. But I love
clubbing as in club?
Real club.
Right, you and I should be hanging out one of these days.
Oh, you would like it. You probably would even
I believe
you'd be surprised.
that.
And I have people who come, oh, I know it's you. I'm very sure it's you.
Oh, no, I'd love to hang out with
but
you.
oh, yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. And I love to go to lovely restaurants, peace and quiet, yes. So if you have a meeting with me on a normal day and it's during the course of the day, I'm most likely to want to meet you at a coffee place.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting the Joyce B side of the Honorable Joyce Bawah Mogtari.
You see, I take life generally very seriously. You see, if I say to you that I'll play from 4 to 6, that's exactly what I'll do. If I say to you, I'm working from 6 to 8, that's exactly what I'll do.
Okay.
And everybody who knows me, that when you sit right next to me, I always have a book in front of me. I tell people that I never leave my mind idle. I spend very little time being idle. But I'm also very committed to the things that matter to me.
Right.
And I take them all very seriously. You know, look, if you ask me to serve you a cup of tea, I'll serve it so well that you ask me to do it for you the next day.
Right.
And in all humility, happily, etc.
will.
I'm also very quick to realize that some relationships are very bad for me, so I'll cut them off completely.
Very important.
Yes, and I also realize that in this space, not everybody wants you to be the one they look up to.
Yeah.
Some want to go at it alone, some want to drive their own destiny, some even believe that they want to beat you at it. You should allow everybody.
Yeah.
I don't hold fast to any of these things in this space. But I know there's one thing that never fails you.
Right.
The grace of God and a great family.
Yes. Yes.
I take enormous inspiration from my siblings, my immediate family.
Great.
Yes, and I consider my siblings as my best friends. So you find people saying they have besties that are outside of their family.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. Everybody I meet is someone I've met.
Yeah.
But when I want to be me, to be really happy,
Yeah.
genuinely pleased with myself, I'm most comfortable with my family.
These are words of wisdom, you know.
Yes,
I think
yes.
that beyond this set,
Yes.
you and I need to say more to each other. You know, it's been a great conversation. I really wish we won't finish now, but unfortunately, when it's getting sweeter, that is where you know that the time is on. Thank you very much, Honorable Joyce Bawah Mogtari, the Joyce B that will be hanging out pretty soon. When you see us, you know, somewhere, don't worry, come to our table. And say,
Anytime.
yeah, I remember that you ladies
yes,
said
any-
you were
any-
going to
anytime,
hang out, and we
anytime,
really
yes, we
will.
should.
All the best. You know, you are such an inspiration, and kudos to all the amazing work that you are doing for your family, for your children, and for Mother Ghana. We truly appreciate women like you. Don't stop. Continue being an inspiration to all of us.
I'll try. It's never easy.
I
but
know.
I know that God has me, and so keep making the
Right,
effort.
I believe that you have been inspired. Well, you probably knew the political side and a little bit of her personal life, but now she's opened up. If nothing at all, we know that we'll be hanging out soon. She loves to club and she loves to read. Even in the club, I'm sure she'll have a book in her
I
bag
always
somewhere.
have something I'm reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Outside Out Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show, and time now to have a conversation. You know, before we spoke to Joyce B. You know, we enjoyed some great high life tunes. There's nothing like authentic Ghanaian music, and the young man who led the band, interesting name, Kwesi Champagne. Now I've got a question for him, ladies and gentlemen. Please help us welcome our glass of champagne, Kwesi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I love it. I mean, I'm also very fine. And great tunes you gave us earlier.
Thank you.
So the Kwesi bit, I understand, but the champagne, I'm trying to figure it all out. I mean, what has Kwesi got to do with champagne?
Okay, so champagne in every aspect of life defines happiness. So
You,
I am happiness.
you love the softest life, huh?
I mean,
Yeah, no, soft life is good.
it's good.
Yes,
It's
yes.
beautiful. So I mean, being it the good days or the bad times, I mean, we still have to be happy.
But I love the way you blend, you know, dance hall with like Afrobeat, with high life and all that. How would you describe your act? I mean, what kind of artist are you?
Let me say I'm versatile.
Okay.
Yes. I wouldn't say I'm an Afrobeat artist. I'm a dancehall artist. I mean, so far as you are doing music, you should be a versatile artist. You should be able to hop on every instrumental. You should be able to hop on everything given to you. So I would say it's just part of the work, and then I'm a versatile artist.
So how long have you been doing this?
Professionally, 8 years.
Oh,
Years, and I've been I've been playing with the AG band as well. Big shout out to the AG band.
okay. You've done this for 8 years professionally.
Yeah, professionally. If I'm not lying.
No, I know you're not lying. But so what? When you came into the world, you just started doing music. I mean, how old are you for you to be doing this professionally for 8 years?
My mom sings, my dad sings.
Okay, people we know. Okay.
My brothers sing. So I mean, it's in the family.
You were born
I
with
was born with
music,
it, so
right? And so you have your own music.
Yes, I do.
Super, super. Give me a line or two of your your favorite of your own.
Of my own.
Yes.
Okay. But it was fine, I'm sorry. Girl, you they giving me ginger. You they giving me ginger. And you've been killing me slowly. So that's it.
Hey, hey. You really love fun, don't you?
Yes, I do.
But what are your plans? What do you want to do with music?
Honestly speaking, I want to go far with music. Yes, and then I've been working on myself.
Great.
Yes, I have tunes out, and then I'm working to bring out an EP.
Okay.
So let me just say we are still working.
How many do you have out?
I have 3 singles out. I have
Right.
Ginger, I have Ajwa,
Okay.
and I have Slow Down.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see yourself moving towards your dream and your
Of course.
expectation.
Of course.
Right. I mean, if I asked you about any form of help to help push your career, what would that be? Don't tell me money. Or that's what you're going to say?
Oh, we need a little bit of money. Yes, and then we'll seek that. Those are the top. We just have to recognize us and then push us. But it will all depend on us, doing the work. Yes.
If there was one thing you could change in the Ghana music industry, what would that be?
One thing I could change.
Or let me make it easier.
Okay.
If there was a request, okay, if you probably met maybe the president or you sat in front of, let's say, the Ministry of Tourism, the Creative Arts, or maybe even trade, okay, and they asked you what you think can be done to better the lot of Ghanaian musicians, what would that be?
So I think we have people, there before us, and then I think they are helping to, change the face of, Ghana music and all that. But we just have to, plead with them that it's difficult though, but they should try and then put some things in place so that we coming wouldn't suffer. Yes, please.
Like royalties issues and stuff like that?
Of course, something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Some of these things they should even try to teach us. How to split. Intellectual properties and all that.
Like the real business aspect.
The real business aspect.
Yes,
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like I'm
just
a musician. I'm just a
entertainment,
musician.
No, you should take it as a proper business.
So maybe I have a song, intellectual property, how to split and all that. Yeah.
Right. No, I think that's a great request. Yeah. Right. So is music what you do full time, or do you do something else on the side? Music. Does it pay?
Of course it does.
Okay.
I work with the Ag Band.
All right. That's why you love the champagne, right? Thank you very much, Kwesi, and well done. You've got a great voice too.
Thank you.
And keep on doing the amazing job that you're doing, and all the best. Let's know when the EP is ready so that we also support. Right. It's been a great time, coming your way. This has been the Upside Down Show. Thank you very much for staying with us. We'll see you some other time. I'm Freema Edina.